A biome is defined as a large complex biotic community that is characterized by distinctive plant and animal species that are maintained under the climatic and soil conditions of the region. This means it is a large geographical area made up of numerous units in which there is a constant interaction between plants, animals, and microorganisms. These units, in which living organisms are constantly interacting, are called ecosystems. Because the biome is composed of numerous ecosystems, it is described as complex. The community is an area where all plants and animals combined exist in an ecosystem. In other words, all the plants and animals together make up the community. Since the plants and animals in an ecosystem are living organisms, a biome is aptly described as a large complex biotic community. The climate and soil of the region influence the unique characteristics of the plants and animals within the biome, which is why you will not find tropical plants like the mango tree or the banana in temperate areas such as Canada, because the climate nor the soil is ideal to support their growth. Nor will you encounter penguins or polar bears in places within the equatorial zones such as the Caribbean or Africa or Southeast Asia, as the extremely arid or extremely hot temperatures can lead to their extinction. In all biomes, plant growth is influenced by temperature and rainfall. Temperature influences vegetation growth in each of the following ways. 1. There is no plant growth when temperature falls below 6 degrees Celsius. 2. There is continuous plant growth at 6 degrees Celsius and above. 3. Plant growth is seasonal when temperature drops below 6 degrees Celsius in one season and temperature exceeds 6 degrees Celsius in another season. Rainfall influences plant growth in each of the following ways. 1. Regions which receive heavy rains have thick forest vegetation. 2. Regions experiencing a light rainfall support grass vegetation. There are a number of biomes across the Earth's surface. 1. Hot and cold deserts. 2. Temperate grasslands. 3. Tropical continental grasslands, otherwise known as the savanna. 4. Equatorial rainforest or tropical rainforests. 5. Deciduous forests. 6. Tundra. 7. Taiga. And 8. Tropical maritime or tropical marine. However, our focus will be on the tropical biomes. There are 4 tropical biomes across the face of the Earth. They are 1. Tropical or equatorial rainforest. 2. Tropical continental grasslands or savanna. 3. Tropical marine or tropical maritime. And 4. Hot deserts. This is a map showing areas of tropical marine biomes. Central America, Northwest South America, Northeast South America, the West Indies or the Caribbean, Queensland in Australia, East Africa, and Madagascar. They are located between 10 degrees to 20 degrees north and south of the equator. This is found along coastal and in island regions in the tropics. They are characterized by warm temperatures, high humidity, which is the amount of water present in the atmosphere, and wet and dry seasons. The climate is influenced by the nearby ocean. In other words, the rainfall temperature, wind, and humidity are controlled by the nearby or surrounding ocean. Here is a map showing areas of hot deserts. These areas are located between 15 degrees and 30 degrees north and south of the equator. They have extremely high temperatures and very low rainfall. Temperatures exceed 40 degrees Celsius, which is 104 degrees Fahrenheit, during the day, and very cool at nights, sometimes below freezing point, due to the rapid loss of heat. Rainfall is only 250 millimeters or 10 inches annually. The Sahara Desert and the Arabian Deserts occupy North Africa. Southwest Africa is covered by the Namib Desert, and the Australian Desert is in Central Australia. Now, we'll be zooming in on the tropical rainforest, otherwise known as the Equatorial Rainforest, and the tropical continental grassland we commonly call the savanna. First, the Equatorial Rainforest. Equatorial rainforests or tropical rainforests are located near the equator. Rainforests can be found between 0 degrees to 10 degrees north and south of the equator. Rainforests are located throughout the Caribbean, the Amazon basin in South America, the Congo basin in Central Africa, and Southeast Asia. These are places with high and uniform temperatures throughout the year. Monthly temperatures range between 25 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius. There is an abundance of rainfall all year round, usually between 2,000 millimeters or 79 inches to over 4,000 millimeters or 157 inches. Forests are dense as there are many varieties of plant species clustered in a small area. The vegetation is luxuriant, having a rich dark green hue. The rainforest is a vegetation battlefield where plants are constantly competing with each other for the precious sunlight, which allows them to perform photosynthesis, which is the process by which plants make their own food. Because plants are constantly competing for sunlight, the trees grow at different heights or in layers and develop branches that spread outwards to form a canopy or crown-shaped structure to capture the sunlight. The tallest layer of trees are known as the emergent layer. Trees are between 100 to 240 feet high. Below the emergent layer is the second tallest set of trees, referred to as the canopy layer. This is where the branches spread outwards to create a dense, continuous leafy covering. Below the canopy layer is the understory. Here, plants receive very little sunlight due to the canopy layer blocking out most of the sunlight. On the forest floor, there is little undergrowth vegetation due to the lack of sunlight. They are often described as shade-tolerant plant species. Due to the scarce plant growth at this level, plants are sparse, or they are located far from each other. Trees develop wide-spreading tall roots called buttress roots for stability against strong winds and shallow soils. These roots are firmly rooted in the lotusol soils that are found in the tropical rainforests. The appearance of the vegetation in the rainforest are greatly influenced by rainfall and sunlight. Let us see how sunlight influences the structure of plants in the rainforest. 1. The tops of the trees are canopied or crown-shaped as they compete for access to sunlight. 2. Branches are located at the top of the trees to access the sunlight. 3. There is no dense undergrowth due to lack of sunlight. 4. Leaves develop a leathery coating called a cuticle for protection from the intense sunlight. And 5. Leaves are broad to maximize the absorption of sunlight. In other words, to absorb as much sunlight as possible. Now let us see how rainfall influences the structure of plants in the rainforest. 1. Due to the high amount of rainfall, trees do not store water. Therefore, their barks are thin and smooth. 2. Smooth barks allow for water to flow down to the roots efficiently. 3. Leaves develop drip tips which allow for the water to shed quickly and to prevent rotting or any other damage or fungal growth on the leaves. 4. Leaves develop a waxy coating called a cuticle to repel water that may cause the leaf to become waterlogged and heavy and eventually break. The importance of the equatorial rainforest to humans. 1. Rainforests are water catchment or watershed areas. 2. Rainforests provide plants that are used to make pharmaceutical medicines. 3. Rainforests provide a beautiful scenery for photographic and video shoots. 4. Rainforests are tourist attractions. 5. Rainforests provide a habitat for indigenous people. 6. Rainforest is a source for plant products. 7. Rainforests provide employment. 8. Rainforests provide opportunities for recreation. 9. Rainforest is a source of pulp used in paper manufacturing. 10. Most natural resources are found in the rainforest. 11. Building and furniture raw material are obtained from the rainforest. And 12. The rainforest provides oxygen to the atmosphere while absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Having explored the deep sanctuary of the dense tropical rainforest, let us now venture beyond the frontiers of the harsh expanse of the tropical continental grassland, which we so often refer to as the savanna, which in itself is a unique biome. The tropical continental grassland, commonly referred to as the savanna, is located between 10 degrees and 20 degrees north and south of the equator. These tropical grasslands cover the plains of Africa, specifically Nigeria, Sudan, Kenya, and Tanzania. Savannas are found in South America, in countries such as Brazil, whose tropical grassland is called the Campos. Venezuela's plains are covered by the Llanos. Savannas are also located in Australia. So how does the vegetation in the savanna adapt to the rainfall? Well, first and foremost, the trees are trophilous since they are able to adapt to the wet season and the dry season. Secondly, vegetations have extensive or deep root systems which serve to access groundwater. Another way by which vegetation adapts to the rainfall is that the trees develop thick barks to store water because of the low amount of rainfall received on a yearly basis. The vegetation in the savanna are equipped to adapt to the temperature and the sunlight. This is accomplished in the following ways. Due to the high temperatures, trees are deciduous. This means they shed or drop their leaves as a means of reducing the rate of transpiration, which is the loss of water to the atmosphere by plants. 2. Temperatures and intense sunlight are influential in the vegetation developing small leathery leaves to reduce the rate of transpiration as well. And finally, high temperatures encourage the growth of epiphytes, which are plants whose roots do not enter the soil, but they live as parasites on other vegetation, for example the trees within the savanna. The savanna is important to humans. Let us also look at the ways by which a savanna is important to humans. 1. The savanna provides a hunting ground for hunters. 2. The savanna absorb vast amounts of carbon dioxide and also release oxygen to the atmosphere. 3. The savanna facilitates grazing of livestock, for example, goats or cattle. 4. The savanna is a water storage area. And 5. The savanna contains exotic animals, which makes it a tourist attraction. The Earth is a vast biosphere, which plays host to a variety of resilient life forms, which have evolved to survive and adapt to their conditions through harmonious living with their environment, and thereby enriching the area with their unique version of life. These biomes are simplistic in their functioning, yet extremely complex in their structure, as if they are adhering to an incomprehensive imaginary code that governs the natural world in its purest form. Therein lies their value to the human race, and the formula to keeping the earth functioning as one healthy living organism.